Welcome in. I'm Prim Saripapat alongside ESPN NFL front office insider Phil Savage. So we've got the draft roughly 2 weeks away. Teams are doing their last-minute homework on all the projected top picks, and that includes former Oregon QB Marcus Mariota. And according to Ducks offensive coordinator Scott Frost, some of the questions about Mariota were great, and some of them were, quote, some of the dumbest questions I've ever heard. So as a former GM, what are some of the questions that you are asking these coaches?
Well, I think you're always trying to do your full homework assignment on these players in terms of their background, in terms of their capacity to translate from college to pro. And I think for most of the offensive-oriented coaches, they want to find out, how did Marcus Mariota learn in a classroom, in a walkthrough? How was he able to translate what he learned off the field and then bring it onto the field? And of course, he's checked off all the boxes in that regard. Scott Frost was probably insulted by some of the questions that were directed his way because he has a very, very high regard for his quarterback.
So between Marcus versus Jameis Winston, who do you think is worthy of the #1 overall pick?
Well, I think in any given year, if they were separated, both of them could go conceivably #1 overall. We're always talking and focusing on the physical ability and what offense they played in and how they will transition to the pros. But one avenue that we're not talking a lot about is the leadership styles, and that's where there's the real contrast between these two players. Jameis Winston, a lot of spotlight. The players followed him at FSU. Marcus Mariota, more laid back, more reserved, but the players there loved him, followed him. And I think it really depends on the philosophy of the head coach, the GM, and ownership in terms of what kind of leadership do they want from the quarterback position. And to me, that's really one of the real contrasts between these two players.
What a fantastic point. All right, I guess we'll find out on April 30th, which is when the NFL draft will take place. For coverage leading up to the draft, keep it logged on to our NFL page on ESPN.com. For Phil Savage, I'm Prim Saripapat.